Hi everyone, it's Monica, and welcome back to Tailor-Made Cards for You. Well, a few videos ago, I shared with you that Angel passport card, and I showed you how to create the passport card with some of my digital download kits. Well, today I'm going to share with you my Santa passport kit. Now, in the future, I'm probably only going to be creating one kit a month, but I couldn't let Christmas pass us by without creating a Santa passport card. So I wanted to go ahead and add another one to my shop. And I also wanted to remind you that through Monday, which is Cyber Monday, everything in my shop is 20% off. So you could easily get both of these kits at 20% discount. So these kits are great because what I'm providing you with is everything that you need, minus the adhesive, to create these little passport cards. And the passport cards, if you remember, are cards that have ephemera and themes, and they work for almost any occasion. It just depends on what type of ephemera and what type of paper that you use. So I decided to put together kits so you can download, and they're only $5, so they're very reasonable. And you can easily download these and create passport cards every month. So to begin, all you need to do is print out the pages, and there's 3 pages in every kit, and you're going to be getting enough paper to create one passport card. Now, once you print it out, you're going to go ahead and trim it down, and I like to trim down everything in the beginning just to get it out of the way. And I use my Tonic trimmer to do this, but you can use any trimmer, of course. Now, these passport cards are great for the holidays because I do create them with a little pocket, and this pocket can easily house a gift card. You can also keep the ephemera for yourself if you wanted to, and just simply give them the card. But to me, I really love having these little passport cards with all this little fun ephemera. And I always have ephemera where you can write little notes as well, because after all, it still is a card. So once you get everything cut out, you're going to take your Santa paper and you're going to score it. And just like the angel card, you're going to score it at 2 3/4. And then you're going to rotate it to your right. And then you're going to score it again, right about the 3.5 mark. Now for the second score, you're going to only score it to the score line that you had just created, because this piece is going to get cut off. So once you get your scoring done, then you're going to want to take your scissors and you're going to want to cut off that rectangular piece. And then that's going to create your little flap on your first page. All right, now I like to get my scoring done all at the same time because then I can just put my scoreboard away. So I'm going to take my second piece of paper, and this is the striped paper. And with the stripes going up and down, you're going to create a score line that's at your 1/2 inch mark. And you're going to go ahead and fold it over on your score line. And then, of course, you're going to take your scissors and cut off that piece that we just scored. Now, once you cut out your pieces, I like to round my corners, but that's not necessary. But I like the way that it looks with the rounded corners. So if you do have a corner rounder, once you get everything cut out and scored and folded, then you're going to want to go ahead and round your corners. Now these cards, once completed, will fit into an A2 envelope. So even though they have all these little pages and these little folds, it will easily still fit into your A2 envelope, which is your standard 5.5 by 4 1/4 type of a card. It's going to be a little bit thicker, but it still will work in the post office with just a regular stamp. I've sent several of these passport cards in the mail, and you can easily get away with just putting them in an envelope. As long as you don't have too much ephemera in there, because if you have a lot of ephemera, then it is going to make your card a little bit thicker. All right, so once you have your corners rounded, then you're going to want to go ahead and take your adhesive, and you're going to want to attach your striped second page. And that's easily done by just adding some adhesive to your scored piece, and then just putting it right up against that score line and adhering it. Now make sure that you do leave a little bit of space, and when I say a little bit, I mean a tiny bit. You just want to make sure that you test that fold before you push down that adhesive to make sure that your card will close. Okay, so within the kit, you are getting two pieces of colored or decorative cardstock as well. And this paper is to cover the white portions of your passport card. So what you're going to want to do is just measure it down depending on where you're going to put your paper. You want to measure it down and have just like a real small part of the cut down piece. You want it to be a little bit smaller than the page you're covering. Because you don't necessarily want it to be exact. You want to have a little bit of white showing. So just figure out what part of the card that you're going to be covering, measure it, and then just make it a little bit smaller than that page that you're going to be covering. Now, ordinarily on my cards, I usually put my pocket on the last page, but I have made some cards where you put the pocket on the second page. So you're going to want to figure that out before you actually adhere the part of the cardstock that's going to cover the white portion. For this particular card, we're going to go ahead and create our pocket on the last page, and we're going to create the pocket using the alternate cardstock. You could easily use the same type of cardstock, but I like the contrast, and both pieces have some green in it, so they match up really nicely. So go ahead and cut down your pocket, and I want to say it's about 2 inches. But you can have your pocket as big or as small as you want. Just keep in mind you are going to be adding some adhesive to the bottom, so it will make it a little bit smaller than what you cut. And then once you figure out the size of your pocket, you're going to go ahead and add your adhesive and then add it to your piece of cardstock. And then if you do have some coordinating washi tape, I always recommend putting some on the edge because that will help to secure your pocket on your piece of cardstock. Now I happen to have some green matching washi tape that worked perfectly for my pocket. So I went ahead and just added it to the very edge, and then I left enough on each side to wrap around because again that is going to help to secure your pocket. And then again, before you adhere the piece to your back page or the second page, if that's the way you decided to go, you want to go ahead and round your corners. Now, as you noticed, I didn't round the bottom left corner, and that's where the fold is. So keep in mind when you are adding your paper and rounding your corners, you don't want to round the bottom side where your folds are. And then once you get that adhered, then your pocket is ready to add lots of fun ephemera. Now, I did include a parcel post, which you can put on the top part of your card, but this is a great place to add any sort of signage. So at this point, you can use some stamping, you can use some of those Tim Holtz word chips. Just use your imagination because you don't necessarily have to use the parcel post. You can use any sort of decorative signage. And you can not only do it on the back page, but you can do it on the second page as well. On my card, I did decide to use my parcel post because I wanted to use all the paper that was in this kit just to show you how it goes together. But keep in mind when you are downloading these kits, you're going to get the base, but feel free to add some of your own stash. I also have some other pieces of ephemera that work great on these cards. So be sure when you are going to pick up this particular passport card, you do take a look at some of the other ephemera in my shop because it does work really well with these passport cards. And at 20% off, it's a good time to stock up. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put on some more Christmas music while I finish up the passport card. And then I'll be back at the end of the video to finish off the card. So as you can see, I'm using up a lot of the scraps that were left over from covering my pages. So when you're creating your passport cards and putting them together, don't throw away any of your scraps, because some of these scraps will work great for little tucks that you can put on your pages. And then keep in mind, you don't always have to use cardstock to cover your white part of your card. You can easily add some of those cute little ephemera pieces like I did on this particular one. I added the notes on the side, and that could easily be used to add a little note to your recipient. Now, I try to put some ephemera in there to give you some choices as far as the cover piece on your passport card. For this particular example, I am using this Jolly Old Santa, but there are some other pieces in there that would work great as well. So again, use your imagination. And if you do have other pieces of ephemera as well, you can easily add those to your passport cards as well. And then finally, as a final touch, I do like to take some of my walnut stain distress ink and just edge up my edges of my card. I am trying to create a vintage nostalgic kind of card, so I find that the walnut stain added to the edges looks really nice, and it's a real nice finish. And then of course, if you have any postmarks or any postal type stamps, those are always fun to add since it is a passport card. Okay, so to finish up, I wanted to go ahead and put a little tuck on my second page. I did put that tuck on the other side, but of course I wanted to put it on the front side as well. And your tucks can go on the top, they can go on the sides, or they can even go on the bottom. Keep in mind, this is just a little flap to add some of your ephemera rather than an actual pocket. You can also add your ephemera with little paper clips, and Tim Holtz has some of those in his Idea-ology collection as well that I often use for my passport cards. So if you have any types of metal elements or trinkets, those are always fun added additions to your passport cards. Okay, so like I said, I am currently having 20% off of my entire store, which does include these passport cards. The only thing I ask is that you do spend at least $10. But if you purchase both of these kits, which are $5 a piece, that'll easily get you into the qualification amount for your 20% off. And then you can easily get both of these kits for your holiday card making. So as always, I will leave a list of all the products that I've used to create the cards along with the links to the stores. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up and let me know what you've thought about my passport cards. Many of you did already download that angel card, so I'm hoping that you'll be pros at putting these cards together in no time. And for those of you that have yet to get this fun little travel stamp platform, I also have a few of those in my shop as well, and they also qualify for the 20% off. But this sale is going to end on Monday evening, so if you have any interest in getting these, this again is a good time to get them, because the 20% savings is a really good amount for my store. I am a small shop, but I do want to make sure that I participate in some of these Black Friday events, so I offered up everything in my shop for 20% off. All right, everybody, thanks so much for stopping by, and I hope that you enjoyed my tutorial along with my passport kits. We'll see you again next time.